Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with me, Nick at Night. We are continuing our Asari campaign as we spread through, at least looking at and trying to explore as much of this wing of the galaxy as we can. We've set up base here on New Thessia, and we're currently waiting because I made a misclick and told them to try a very risky research maneuver that has a 55% chance of failure. So I couldn't end it, unfortunately, after I clicked it. So we're at the point where we're just hoping that we don't have a massive failure that might, be bad, like the ship breaking up and losing the scientist or something of that nature. But we'll find out shortly here. Also, our construction ship is waiting to find out what we can find over here. Head over there. Ancient automata. One of the major areas of extreme verdancy and Yilon law is okay. It's centered on an overgrown alien structure. Initially thought ruined, closer observation by the EAI revealed that the building has mostly survived the crushing embrace of the planet's flora. A special project has been issued to find a way into the structure. Oh, that's pretty cool looking, actually. Let's check it out. Okay. Need be 3 or higher in order to actually conduct that, so... Perfect. We'll send them on their way. Let's see. This is our attitudes, or no, diplomacy map, showing that we're kind of hostile towards them, or at least they feel that way towards us. We don't really care about them all that much, but actually we should go to diplomacy real quick. Open communications, and we should close our borders to them also, so that they can't enter our space as much as we can't enter their space. Yeah, they're considered unfriendly. We have a massive negative against them. All right. Several of our scientists all gained a level. Good to know. I'm waiting to see what happens with this. And complete, huh? Grimacing. Very geological structures of Yilon is indeed in flux, driven by what science officer Mayana Tessoni assures us that the tectonic processes, as fascinating as it is static. What is more interesting in the Asari Andromeda is that we may be able to strategically halt the planet's ceaseless chaotic self-transformation in a short and nearly instant stabilization of the planet in something slightly, if not entirely more habitable, is theoretically possible. All right. They estimate the additional 200 energy credits would be needed to power a thorough mapping of the planet's activity and determine the validity of what the science officer and their team has suggested surgical terraforming strike. Actual terraforming lies beyond our grasp at present, so that is an exciting opportunity. Alright, let's take a look at this planet before we decide what to do with it. So currently it's a tropical world. It's only 11 tiles, so I don't really care about being able to make it nicer for my people to live on. I wouldn't probably want it. It's a little too small. You get a pretty large negative debuff on doing research for every planet you have plus every population you have. So taking population centers, or at least planets that are incredibly small like this, I have never been a fan of, at least not yet. There has been substantial patches and make things different and whatnot, but so far I prefer 18 and up size planets. You just get a lot more yield out of them. They just seem to be more cost effective for what they cost you. I'm just going to go with just study its natural processes, and we'll get 6 research physics out of that. All right, cool. She leveled up after doing that. And we can now build colony ships, which is awesome. I'm going to go for gene mapping, because to reduce our growth time, because we have a 25 negative or 25 positive, if it's a way of looking at it, modifier to our growth timer. It's in our demographics. Well, actually, no, it's in our genetics. So it takes 25% longer to grow the same population, or 25% more to grow a single population than it would any other alien species that, is around us. So it takes us a lot longer to fill out populations on a planet.
Anomaly found.
Leave it for now. I'm gonna clear that.
System survey complete.
Great. Now, we could save up for a colony ship. We could probably right now. We're lacking 3 influence to build a frontier outpost. How much influence do we need? That seems like an awful lot. Wow, we need 291 influence to put an outpost here. That seems a bit extreme. Alright, you know what? I'll probably save up for the colony ship then. Hey, expanding our race, having more planets, if not actually getting more it decreases our ability to do research, but having more total area that we can cover to gather more resources, that in itself is worth it. All right, so we're having a bit of a slow take. That's a lot. I wonder if our influence cost is a much less if we're closer to the... I thought we got our... Oh, our build cost is less. There's nothing about influence. That's interesting. Let's see. This game is just incredibly beautiful. All right, we found, or someone else found us, which is probably that populated planet in the south that we've been kind of not wanting to engage with because we've been worried. So there's xenophobe, collectivist, and pacifist. So likely not to probably actively go to war with us. But they don't like us because they're definitely xenophobes. So yeah, they did a really, really wonderful job. All right, we've been declared rivals. And they said I can't come in their borders, but they don't actually encompass these lands, which is great. So, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and build the outpost, and I can always take it down after we've set up a stable colony here. That just means we might not be able to take a colony here. Shit. Oh, dang it. No, I don't want to do that. What to do, right? Some days. All right, I'm gonna save the money. We'll build a colony ship. Asari Andromeda for the Asari will grow. Will grow. Alright, so we need to do some diplomacy here. These guys have said, no, you can't come in our borders. Right? I'm pretty sure we can't go on theirs. Yeah, it has closed borders. Okay, we're going to close our borders to them. And to the north, we have been declared rivals. So we will gain 0.33 influence each month because we've made them our rival. And that's because we have increased 10% from our military or militarist tradition. So there's a pretty good chance we're going to go to war with these guys. Whether it's soon or not, I don't know of, but I'm more interested in growing the area that we can encompass significantly. Some part of me is thinking that we might want to get an extra scientist. You can never have enough scientists, guys. So let's see. They prefer continental. We are also continental, and they prefer desert. So they each only have a leader plus 1 skill. Whereas we have quite a few genetic traits. We have fleetings because of the fact that we are migrating from our home system into this system. And I figured it would be kind of make sense that, you know, you lose some time in the process of travel. So I figured it might be like something that might be a genetic decay, you know, since they're hanging out on board a ship for so long. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking for the Here we go. This shows us all the planets that we've discovered, how much it costs to take those particular planets, influence based, and how much population each one of those planets is capable of supporting, which is a significant amount. We've been looking at wanting to take this guy, which is 25. It's 316 influence. Wow. Quite a few continental worlds that we've found. We're going to take this one right here. Pavron 3. It's very close. It's basically within our own system, so it doesn't do us a ton of good early on to take that, because it's not expanding our borders out into regions that would help us. All right, build colony ship. Hopefully they don't end up putting something out here that would stop us from colonizing. Let's, hold on. I want to go back to the planner. 317. So I need 365 plus influence because I'm contemplating about getting a new scientist along with a ship to go survey all this stuff that's around us. I mean, why not? We need to find places with more energy and more minerals. So there's some decent stuff up here, but he'll probably end up exploring or going up to the location. I don't really want it. It's a 15 tile. Not really big enough, but this 22 I would love to have. Ooh, there's a 25 ocean. I don't have terraforming yet, but we will one day. Gigantic skeleton. What we've previously thought to be assorted mountains in the southern hemisphere on such particular planet has been identified as a massive skeletal remains of a single colossal alien life form. The bones have been dated to 3.4 billion years old, but our scientists have ruled out that planet could have supported life on that scale at any point in the moon's history. The science officer, Moyana Tersoni, has prepared a special report project to delve further into the mysteries. Okay, intriguing. Since you're there, why don't you research that? And then you can continue to keep researching. So we're nearly 30 some odd % through the construction of this new home siege ship, colony ship. And that thing should be, it's going to put us into the negative pretty bad because every month it's going to cost us 8 energy to maintain that. And we're not gathering a lot of energy in our current system the way it is now. Yeah. So we can habit easily. The number one is continental, then tropical and ocean. I was looking to see that because I was like, oh, there's a huge alpine planet there, but that won't work for us. There's a 17 ocean planet there. Ooh, 17 tropical. That might be worth it. That's a probability. Right, what's going on? Unemployment. No. And we're gonna build a mining network there, and we're gonna clear this, and well, once that's cleared, we'll move you there. So, oh, awesome. We finally got our administrative AI researched, which will be wonderful. Now the real question is, do we go for something like combat computers, which could help us tremendously in combat, at least help improve minor things like evasion or 5% weapon damage, that kind of thing? Or do we go for that extra energy capacitor? Having extra energy in this game does have a bonus for your fighters. Any ship you have will give a bonus towards deflectors, damage they can take, or the maximum damage output of a particular gun weaponry that is installed upon it. I'm thinking we'll go fusion power this time around. And 22 months, that's not too bad. Livable. Alright, so we have special project complete. After continued studies of this massive skeletal remains found on the planet, Mayona Tesoni has concluded that the creature served as some kind of organic ship. Much smaller bones from at least 3 other separate species were found within the larger skeleton. We assume these came from members of the crew. For unknown reasons, this organic starship suffered catastrophic damage and landed on the planet. While we cannot begin to understand the biological engineering necessary to grow a starship like this, the study of these bones alone have substantially advanced our knowledge. On the planet, our scientists gained 200 experience, and the planet is worth 3 engineering and 3 social sciences, which is up here, which is going to be in his territory. Oh, wait. Yeah, it is. So, alright. Well, no big deal. Alright, let's continue. I would really like to get this colony ship out and send it here to this planet. It's also got Bentherian stone. Bentherian stone is this really interesting deposit. It says this rare stone has been deposited on many worlds throughout meteor strikes. They burn very slow and are very efficient energy sources. Essentially, that you can make them into power plants using them, and very, very high-end power plants that produce large quantities of power from them. Much more than you would get from anything else. Survey complete. This is talking about we completed the habitable world survey, which we had started 2 episodes ago, asking us to take a look at all the planets around us and see what kind of life there was. So we just finished that. We got a little extra research and some credits for doing that. We got paid forward by some companies. Wanted to look at exploring over there. All right, let's continue with research. That's fine. Yep, we're taking now a economic deficit to hold this colony ship, because we are going to take this colony ship over here and we are going to colonize this world. I don't know why. Oh, we'll come here and then we'll set up the colonization landing and all that. So, yeah, we're losing 3 now rather than being up positive 4. Well, technically we're almost losing 4. It's like 3.97. I was just checking to see how we were doing on the building here. To rise above the waters, one species native to Mintaka law has, according to the EAI orbiting the planet, achieved a tentative mastery of the planet's small plots of land as well as a vast ocean. Science officer Venya proposes that we should monitor their development closely and maybe even help them along if possible. Similar to the Protheans messing around with the Asari. Okay. Proles. Interesting. So essentially they're like a primitive alien species that one day, if we keep playing this game long enough, they'll actually rise to become a spacefaring civilization empire that would fight us for control of, the same resources we're trying to gather. All right, cool. We got our growth bonus. Oh, wonderful. So we just picked up their science technology here for the Frontier Clinic. Frontier Clinic costs 1 energy, gives you 2 food for the tile that it sits on, and increases the habitability of the entire planet. As we've said previously in previous episodes, habitability of the planet increases the total capacity for happiness. Having a higher happiness cap allows for the higher level of happiness that your populations on each tile could potentially have, which is a big deal, especially later on as various things go on and population, if it were to get too upset, it might join certain factions such as liberations or rebellions and things of that nature. So anyways, with that tidbit of information, our new colony ship underway, flying to its new home, carrying all of our Asari and what looks like a beautiful little garden inside there, heading to their new home with a stellar look at that wonderful neutron star. I'm gonna call that an episode, guys, and I look forward to having you guys join me back here in Andromeda tomorrow night. Thank you.